Hi everyone, welcome back to Lockdown Lessons Part 13. And with me today, I've got Aaron Dewhurst from the Glass Whiteboard Company. So I'd just like to start off by saying hello to you, Aaron.
Hello, Phil. How you doing?
Very well, thank you very much. So just for those people that are watching that haven't watched one of these interviews before, the whole idea is I'm going to find out a bit more about Aaron's business, what he's been doing since we went into lockdown back in March, and just hopefully you'll get some ideas, the viewers will get some ideas watching this as to what they could do differently within their business that could help them moving forward. And along the way, we're going to find out a bit more about the Glass Whiteboard Company and how Aaron helps. So hope that fills you in, the viewers. So without further ado, I suppose, could you just go into a bit of detail about what the Glass Whiteboard Company does, Aaron?
Yeah, so the Glass Whiteboard Company, we manufacture, is pretty much what the name of the company says. We manufacture glass whiteboard, which is an alternative to a whiteboard that you put on the wall, a standard whiteboard. So the advantage to our product is that it's glass, so it lasts forever, and we can brand it and we can make any colour you want, and it's a nice add-on to an office that you kind of like care about and you put a lot of effort into.
Fantastic.
So that's it. Yeah, in a nutshell, that's it. And we manufacture it here in Kent ourselves, and we kind of like, the big thing about us is we're a UK manufacturer. We source from the UK, and we try and do all of our processes as environmentally friendly as possible.
Lovely, and I can see you've got a great example of what you do behind you right there. So that's a whiteboard that just obviously shows off the branding. But what other reasons do people use whiteboards in the glass whiteboards in the office?
There's various reasons. I mean, for us, predominantly we use ours for planning. So we plan all of our work and our schedules. So marketing planners. So we're in our office, we're big on planners. But if you get an agency, they might be big on presentation. They like to get their ideas down, brainstorming. Sometimes people it's just a nice, you can use it, it's functional, but you can also stay on brand with colours. So say if you've got a particular theme going on in your office, people like them because they can follow that theme on. They don't have to use it all the time, but it's just a nice looking product. Like I say, I've got the branded one in the background. So if you've got some meeting spaces, it's functional as well. But if you're branding something in a meeting room, you might have smaller branding and it might not be as prominent as we've got in the background. But again, when you're not using it, your brand is always in front of your clients. Which I guess at the moment there might not be that many clients coming into meeting rooms, but hopefully in the near future that's all going to change again.
Yeah, well, there's also some debate based on the government legislation about business meetings at the moment and whether they're allowed or not. So I'm sure that we will be back face to face before very long. I suppose if I could take you back now to sort of March the 23rd, at what point did you think there might be a problem commercially, Aaron?
Well, it's a funny one, isn't it? I think around about March the 10th, we were working out that there might be potentially a problem coming up, but we didn't know. I think around about then there was all this potential lockdown talk and discussing it. It was really, I'd read things that there was a problem, in other countries, but I didn't really, if I'm honest, I didn't really take a lot of notice. And about the 10th, when they were talking about lockdown, we decided that we basically got everyone iPads, so that we couldn't really afford to get full-on laptops, and there was a lot of configuration, whereas an iPad is pretty much pick up and go, because all of our systems are online. So as long as we could get online, so we got everyone sorted out iPads just in case the inevitable happened. And we kind of like the inevitable did happen, and I think it was around about the 23rd that we shut the company down. So realistically, the iPads became relevant because we shut down for the lockdown period, mainly because we didn't know what was going on. Our orders had definitely dried up, and by being open, it was costing us more money than it was being shut down. But we were prepared, in that way. So yeah, I guess 10th of March was the time when we were thinking, but I wouldn't have guessed. I could never have predicted it was going to be like it is, even up to now.
I don't think anyone can predict.
Shocking.
It is, yeah. I mean, I think when Italy went into full lockdown, that was when I started to open my eyes and think, wow, how long is it going to be before it's us? And that's what made a difference to me. So if I could just ask you, what sort of, apart from bringing in iPads, have there been other adaptations, any things you've had to do differently over the last few months to keep your business running at the level it's running at?
Yeah, well, when we came back in June, I think the government announced that businesses can go back, I don't know, it was like the last week of May, or, but we said, right, we had decided back in April that we were going to come back in June, no matter what, effectively, because we manufacture, we didn't necessarily have to shut down, and we decided that we need to get back up and running again, So we relaunched our AdWords in May, just so we started generating a bit of inquiries coming in, and then when we came back, I was keen to get one back in the office because we've got a nice office, and but we realised there was a problem with social distancing. And during lockdown, I was quite adamant I wasn't going to get on the COVID bandwagon. And there was an option because we produce our own product, we could have got on the screen bandwagon. But I was adamant that we weren't going to do that. But when we got back to our office, we realised that we couldn't actually work at our desk without screens. So we produced a glass screen for desks, and we adapted one of our freestanding systems. Because it is actually quite complex getting two people at a desk safely. So you've got to be able to get to your desk without passing the other person. Your screens have to be high enough. You've got to constantly clean the screens. If you're sharing desks, you've got to constantly clean them down. So there's all these little things. So we've kind of like overcome all those problems, and we've now been back in the office and since June, and I'm pretty confident we're COVID secure. We do health check. We've got a health check area where everyone has their temperature took, and we also do oxygen levels because I read something that there's a bit of an indicator that there's a problem, not necessarily COVID, but there's a underlying health issue. So yeah, we've been back in June, and we're confident. So we've adapted a product and had to get on the screen bandwagon.
Yeah. So doubly useful then, not only for yourself for looking after your staff and being responsible, but also creating a product that you ultimately can sell.
Yeah.
Even though a lot of people are doing that because of your experience over the years, you're probably a bit better equipped than most people to actually manufacture things quickly and in the right format.
Definitely.
That you need.
I mean, we've looked at our product as a long-term solution as opposed to the acrylic short-term solution. So we're envisaging that our offices they're going to stay like this forever. We're not planning on taking the screens down if this ever ends, because I think there's some added benefits just to the general, I think everyone's going to become more hygienic after this naturally, and hopefully it's going to reduce, just some general bugs that float around. So our product we've looked at long term, because you've got to clean it, it's got to stay looking good. And it's a bit of a, and it was just taking off as Boris re-announced everyone should work from home again.
But no, I think there is going to be a longer term demand for it, as you said. So what would you say are the biggest sort of issues you've had to overcome then, apart from the ones we've already discussed, Aaron?
And the biggest issues have been obviously our main business is done in London. London's really shut down at the moment. Our product goes into offices mainly. It's mainly an office space. We do education and hospitals and things like that, but mainly office, predominantly office. Offices are shut down. So that's been the biggest kind of issue. There's a few supply chain issues, which are it's just another added thing to think about, and we're finding that people they're becoming more price conscious. We pitch ourselves as quite high end products, and we really want to deal with people that are interested in how we make things and where we produce them. And so we use water-based paint, which I think is not necessarily as important at the moment, but in the next couple of years is going to be important with all these kind of like the ESG stuff coming up. And now people are like, look, we just want to buy something and they're not really bothered where it comes from or how they get it. So that's a little bit of a problem that we're working on, trying to resolve. But I think generally that's kind of like, that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah. Good. So I suppose, what would you say you've learned about yourself during this time, Aaron, over the last few months?
It's been good to reflect. I mean, in a weird way, I've kind of like quite enjoyed lockdown because I like my own time and space, and it was quite nice to get away from it wasn't nice because obviously it's a problem, but it was nice to get away from the general day-to-day problems you had running a business. But obviously I was dealing with other problems, as in, trying to find some money from somewhere and making sure we've got enough business. But I quite enjoy that. So I've learned that, it's not all about working 100 miles an hour all the time, even though we are kind of like doing that a little bit. But once we've kind of like everything settled down, hopefully we can get into a better thing. And we were pre-COVID, we were looking at making everyone's life better at work and giving them a bit more flexibility. And that, I think that's still important. And hopefully we can get back to the point where that steps up. And we don't need to be in the office all the time, apart from the production side of it. So one of the problems we've got is split. If the office people can work from home, the production side of things might get a little bit of envy. So just trying to work out how to keep things fair and equal, moving forward. So, and I've learned that you've got to prepare for these things like this. So, we were, probably financially we were a little bit unprepared because we've been investing in the business. We did a lot of expansion between October and weirdly February, based on a strategy that we had. And obviously when COVID hit, it's kind of chucked everything out the window. So I think, you've always prepare for the worst, and hopefully it doesn't happen,
Yeah, hope for the best and expect the worst is quite a good way of working at the moment.
I don't think there's any kind of like anything new to come out of that. It's just something that I kind of like haven't done previously. So I will be doing that moving forward.
Good. So just for those people that are watching, if I asked you what types of people would you like to be introduced to, that would be potential buyers of your product in the future, who would those people be?
So we've our main customer, our biggest customer is kind of like a construction fit out side of things, because they're moving from job to job. So architects and specifiers are really important to us, because they're the main person that specifies your product. So if we're not in front of those pitching our product to them, sometimes it's what we've discovered is that we're sometimes we haven't been very good at that in the past, and we've discovered by having time to think about where we've gone wrong and what we haven't done, we've realised that these are the really important guys that we need to be in front of, because when we're getting opportunities, it's kind of like sometimes they're just getting a price because they need to get free prices, and then they're using our price to barter with the people that have been specified. So, architects, I mean, anyone really, we've sold to every, I don't want to say every single country in the world, but we, like Microsoft, Amazon, the BBC, medical centres, schools, universities, and one-man bands we've sold to, so I think anyone and everyone. But our product is, if you don't really care about your surroundings or your what things look like, our product's probably not for you, But if you care about the way things look, what the product's gone through to reach you, as in, what processes. So we use, like I say, we use water-based paint. We recycle all of our water. We recycle all of our waste glass as well. So I think these things in the future are going to become important to companies. There's a lot of big companies, say for example, the likes of Apple, who are committed to these sourcing sustainably. One of the problems I think is that the suppliers can't actually meet that criteria. Whereas we want to position ourselves so that if they say, right, we need to buy a product, you need to source a product, who can you source it from? We've got this evidence in place that says this is what we do, here's the evidence, buy from us. So I think we're slightly ahead of the game with regards to that kind of thing, and that's the kind of the ideal customer we want. But we want to sell to all sorts of people and try and get this message across.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, I think anyone with a sort of a corporate social responsibility policy would be ideally placed to speak to you, because of the environmentally friendly way that you actually operate and the way you look after your staff and your surroundings. I think is amazing. So just to wrap up then, really, Aaron, if anyone wants to get in contact with the Glass Whiteboard Company and yourself, maybe, how would they actually contact you?
There's various ways. You can ring us. The number's 01303 266 200. We've got a website. The Glass Whiteboard Company is wipe, WIPE, boardcompany.com. You can email us from the website. We've got forms you can fill in, contact us forms. We've got product forms you can fill in. We're on social media. If I'm honest with you, I can't read off all the social media handles. But if you type in Boldfish or the Glass Whiteboard Company, Boldfish is spelled BOWLPHISH. You should kind of stumble across us,
Stuff. What I'm going to do, Aaron, after this, after I actually upload this onto LinkedIn, I'm going to drop your details below in the content, in the contact box, in the comments box, so people can reach you really easily. So just like to say thanks very much, Aaron. I really appreciate your time. Best of luck for the future, and I'm sure we'll be in touch soon.
Yeah, thanks, Phil. Thanks for inviting us and having me.
No problem at all. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. You too. Bye.